Hello guys, I'm Rina. Today I'll tell you how to choose the right validator for your staked assets in multiple networks. These are metrics that are pretty universal, so you can use them both for Cosmos networks, Tezos, Polkadot, and all of them. The first thing you definitely need to consider is an active validator set. So for active validator set, that's normally like from 50 to 150 in Cosmos networks, but it also up to 1,000 in many networks. An active set doesn't get any rewards. Meanwhile, the active set is actually the one that can accrue rewards and then distribute it among different delegators. Another thing you need to consider, so for example, in Tezos networks, there is oversubscription thing. So as soon as the validator is oversubscribed, you won't be getting any additional rewards. Another important metric is uptime. So anything that goes from 90% to 100% it should be fine, and you can easily check that metric on any suitable explorer for the network. But if it goes any down, it actually can reside in slashing for validators, because it's basically shows how many blocks is produced by this specific validator. The downtimes can be associated with some network downtimes as well, so it's just fine. Another thing to consider is commission. Commission is something very important as soon as accrued from your rewards. So, but don't stick with 0% validators or 1% validators, because it's basically weird that they don't get anything for themselves. They can possibly cut the cost for the infrastructure that can reside in some negative consequences for the different tool set they're using. So some validators are actually accruing a huge amount of commission, so 100%, meaning you don't get any kind of rewards for your staking. But also there are different types of validators. So for custodians, they're normally from up to 30% commission, but I'd suggest you stick with from 5 to 10%, which is pretty reasonable in case the validator is willing to contribute to the network. They have some costs, and you will be actually trusting more in this validator. So we at Citadel have the standard commission of 5% that makes it easier for our delegators to understand how we proceed, and we don't overcharge it, but in the same manner we don't have the zero commission, because it's very questionable. Important point to consider is the skin in the game. So talking about the self-delegation, the amount of money the validator is actually staking for himself should not be around 0. So check this metric on the Explorer. So another thing is the contribution to the network. And I'm not only talking about the specific self-bonds that I've discussed previously. I'm not talking about the building the huge applications for these specific networks. I'm just talking about more exchange validators. That'll be a huge topic in proof of stake networks, as well as smaller validators. They're just trying to build a community, support each other, and provide some community activities as well. So exchange validators do nothing. Don't stick with them. It's not something we need, and they also question the decentralization thing. But smaller validators sometimes try to contribute as much as possible, so take a look at them. Maybe they are worse than this. Also, different contributors, some infrastructure builders, some validator services, can actually help the protocols projects to grow and expand and check various metrics, and as well as participating in various test nets. So some of them build different projects on the ecosystem. Some of them build some tools, some wallets, some decentralized applications, as we do, and it actually brings more users to this project. It's actually building more value for this specific ecosystem, which means you should definitely take that into account. And previously, I was running a research in 2021. I was writing this kind of academic research on secret network, and I actually talked to a lot of delegators, and then I analyzed some data which actually says that the community always supports someone who's building, someone who's in the community, has the skin in the game, and they're actually very proud of what the specific validators do for the ecosystem because they can actually use that. So definitely a good metric. So governance. Governance is something that's built within the Cosmos ecosystem, within various proof-of-stake networks, and that's something that actually help the project to grow and expand because different parameters are being changed, new projects onboarded within the specific ecosystem, and that's why it's very important to check the voting history for your validator because it's very easy to check on the Explorer, and you can just basically share your views and your values with your validators. It's very good to have that aligned. Of course, in Cosmos networks you can vote for yourself, and recently we've integrated this governance application for Juno, Osmosis, and Cosmos, but it's always good to have the representative that shares your thoughts on different proposals and can actually have the opinion how to change the network and why it's good, and always have some sources and some valid facts to prove its point of view. And we at Citadel.one have this specific validator constitution that can actually state majority of our votes, so you can check it out. Don't forget about community presence. You actually need to have your questions answered. And it's very important to have this communication between validator and delegator inside various chats or possibly community events, because there is lack of the communication between delegator and validator and just lack of communication in crypto. So please check it out via different chats if the validator is present, if he's answering some questions, participating in different community halls or some videos, creating some guides for the ecosystem, and actually just talk to him, ask some questions, and make sure it's a real person that has the face and the skin in the game we're talking about. Another important thing to highlight is the monitoring and infrastructure setup of your validator. Go ask him how he is proceeding with the key management, with the monitoring solutions, with the general setup for validation. So is he using Sentry? You can ask some technical questions and just make sure he's sharing that info publicly. I can speak for Citadel.one because we are using Grafana for monitoring our node CPU loads, current and missed blocks. Also, we check the random access memory usage, plus yield key stack software for building analytics, error search, failure mode, and anything else. So we use Zabbix for hardware, hard disk, and memory load monitoring. And just in case, we have our Telegram notification system, so something urgent is happening, we always know. Do not forget about additional incentives. So you may know about a lot of different airdrops happening within the Cosmos ecosystem for newly emerging networks. And these are some eligibility criteria that you should take into account. So no exchange validators, no 0% validators, governance participation, and in some cases for extra bonus you should not stake with top 20 validators, but it's just for the extra bonus you will be getting the general airdrop, but additional incentive for staking with smaller validators does not apply for you. Another thing is the validator rewards. So some validators are actually issuing their specific tokens to incentivize staking with them. In the same manner, Audit One node in persistence proceeded with a stake drop for staking with their node specifically. We are proceeding with XCD incentive so they can get up to 4% on your staked assets in XCD, and then you can stake your XCD to receive even more. And Posthuman, our ecosystem friend, is also launching his validator token. These are just some metrics I personally consider while choosing validator for staking, and also take into account you can choose multiple to diversify the risks, so you can use them. And please refer to some information from the Explorer. I'll be attaching some popular explorers in the bio, so you can check it out yourself and make the right choice while staking.